This video is going to talk about how to fill out the coordinate graphing pages. The first one that we're going to fill out is going to give you what letter A is, letter B, letter C, letter D, letter E, and all the rest of the letters. What you're going to notice as you continue to fill out these particular activities is that they won't always tell you what A is, what B is, what C is. You're going to have to solve a problem for that. But this paper isn't about that. This paper is about practicing the graphing itself. So what we're going to do is we are going to complete this paper. You will need a pencil to do this, except a pencil won't show up very well on video, so I'm going to cheat and use a marker. You're going to use the pencil. I'm going to use the marker. It's actually a pencil cleverly disguised as a marker, but don't tell anyone. You're also going to need, for this particular activity, a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, pause the video right now and go ahead over to the drawers in the cabinets up against the wall and get into the drawer that is closer to the whiteboards, and you will find a number of rulers. Now that you have your ruler and you have your pencil, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have one of each of these papers. You're going to have Activity 1, Practice Plotting Points, and Graph Paper A. If you have Graph Paper B, you will not be able to complete this activity. Just make absolutely sure it says A on top. What you're also going to need for this video is to know how to plot coordinate pairs. If you don't know how to plot coordinate pairs, don't panic. Go ahead and find the video on Kovacs Math labeled Plotting Coordinate Pairs. I might even remember to link the video down in the description. So take a look, see if it's there. If you need to go ahead and watch that video, now is the time to go ahead and watch the video labeled Plotting Coordinate Pairs. Now that you're back from watching the video named Plotting Coordinate Pairs, what you're going to do is you are going to fill out each one of these blanks. So this says C blank. So they're looking for the answer to C. I didn't have to solve it because this paper gives it to me. C is 10. Great. Let's check and make sure you can at least see that. Yes, you can. Wonderful. The next point that's going to ask for is -8. A is -8. There it is. And we're going to keep filling this out. B is 1. J is going to be 16. A is going to be -8. -8. D is going to be 14. G is going to be 6. I is going to be, somewhere on the paper, -12. G is going to be 6. C is going to be 10. A is going to be -8. F is going to be 9. And E is going to be 13. And if you think I'm going to fill out this entire paper, you are mistaken. This is just enough to give you the example because I know you're not going to have a ton of time to work on this, but we're going to show you 2 lines, a longer one and a shorter one. So what you're going to do with this is you are going to plot these points. So my first point is going to connect up with my second point and my third and the next and the next and the next until it hits end of line. You're going to stop connecting the points at that point. And then you're going to go on to the next line and connect these 2 points. So let's take a look at what I mean by that. Our first point says 10, -8. I'm going to remember that coordinate points, which are x, y, actually mean run, jump. So my run is going to be 10. So I'm going to start at the origin where I always start, and I'm going to run 10 all the way to over here. And then I'm going to jump -8, which means I go to the negatives. That's going to put my point right here. I'm not going to do anything with that point yet. I'm just going to kind of let it sit there. My next point says 1, 16. Go to the coordinate grid, go over to run 1, jump 16. It's going to put me all the way up here. Look, I have 2 points. Now's the time when I use the ruler. And I'm going to use this ruler to connect up the first dot to the second dot. And if I don't use the ruler, it's not going to look nearly as pretty. And it's not going to make nearly as much sense. Now that the first 2 dots are connected, my next point is -8, -8. So I'm going to start at the origin, run -8, and then jump -8, which means fall -8, down right to here. This is the last point I drew. Because this is the last point I drew, this is the only point I connect up to my new point. So I'm going to sit here and line this up, use my ruler so it looks nice and straight. Look at that wonderful line. Fantastic. Now that I've done -8, -8, my next point that I'm going to graph, excuse me, that's been off the paper. The next point that I'm going to graph is going to be 14, 6. So I'm going to go back to my origin. I'm going to run 14, which is all the way over here. I'm going to jump 6. And here's my 6. So I'm going to connect the last point I drew. And you can start to see a shape taking shape. After you have 14, 6, my next point is 12, 6, or -12, 6, excuse me. So I'm going to run -12. I'm going to jump 6. Oh, I lost my point, so I have to go start over again. Run -12, jump 6. Then I'm going to connect up these 2 points. Now that that's done, my last point is 10, -8. So I'm going to start at the origin, run 10, jump -8. Look at that, it's the same point. So now we're going to connect up these 2 points. And now what you'll notice is that this says end of line. So we are going to stop connecting these points up. The next point I'm going to draw says 7, 9. Start at the origin, run 7, 5, 6, 7, jump 9. There's a point. I'm not connecting anything because this is the beginning of a new line. Then I'm going to run 11, and I'm going to jump 13. It's going to have me all the way up here. And I'm going to connect these 2 points. It says end of line, so I'm done connecting, and this is where you are going to finish this sheet with everything else that is on this piece of paper.